Kristi from Kristi K Hikes. Hi, Kristi.
Hello.
And she's doing some questions before she goes on the trail that she's going to also ask other people. So we're going to ask her the questions first before we go ahead and ask anybody else. So first and foremost, Kristi, how long have you been backpacking for?
I have not been backpacking very long. This is just going to be my 3rd year this summer.
Your 3rd year. And how did you become interested in backpacking?
Well, I grew up camping, going packing into the mountains, and then my son's girlfriend took my daughter and I on a day hike, and I just fell in love with hiking. And after that, I got more interested in day hiking, and then I wanted to start backpacking, so I started doing that.
Yeah. And with backpacking, you need a lot of gear, so how did you acquire your gear for backpacking?
So I just started watching a lot of gear videos and all about equipment that people suggested, and I started buying my own equipment. But I would get my backpack out for a whole year and put that on before I ever even had any other piece of equipment.
Right. And you would just pull it out, right? You were saying, and you would just like look at it and put it on and mess around with it. I love
just
that.
Dream about backpacking someday.
Yeah. And what was your first experience with backpacking? Like, what was the first time you went out or did any of that?
Yeah, my first experience with backpacking, I went with my son's girlfriend. She took me backpacking, and it was a good experience, but it was hard. My backpack weighed 48 pounds, which that's way too much, and that was just for one night. Wasn't even for a week.
Wow.
I packed way too much, and my hip flexors were hurting by the time I got to where we were going.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So that was my first trip, but I still loved it. I had so much fun. I wanted to keep going. And then the next weekend I went, and I still had too much stuff. That's when I threw tortillas out to the squirrels.
Yeah.
Just trying to offload all of my...
So you're feeding the nature. I
Yes.
love it. So thinking back on that first trip, what was one positive and one negative experience that you had with that? What changes did you make to change those experiences in the future?
The most positive was just getting to be out in nature, getting to walk and just see nature from walking, because I grew up getting to pack in, ride horses. And in fact, I had grown up going on this same trail, so getting to just see it from a different viewpoint, walking. So I think that was the most positive, is getting to be on that trail again as an adult.
Right.
I wouldn't negative. I wouldn't necessarily say it was negative, because I learned a lot from that first trip, but I would just say I just had too much. I packed way too much, not knowing what I was doing.
Right.
And then when I went home, I started weighing my stuff, trying to be more cognizant of what I packed.
Right.
So those are the changes that I made.
Yeah, that's awesome. And when you do hikes, do you hike with a group partner, or are you alone when you do your hiking?
I am either with a partner, or most of the time I'm by myself. I'm alone.
Right. So you go on little hikes, and then you do some stuff by yourself.
Yes.
And you're doing the Colorado Trail by yourself.
I am.
The whole thing, so that'll be awesome.
Yes.
So it's very, very exciting.
Yes.
Have you ever attempted long distance through hike before?
No.
No? This is the
Never.
first one?
This will be my first time.
Yeah.
This summer.
It's going to be awesome. What is the longest trip you've taken?
5 days.
5 days?
Yes. Last summer I went on a 5-day trip, and yeah, it was fun. It was a long time. I've never been gone that long by myself out somewhere, but I enjoyed it. It was good.
Yeah. And you have this through hike planned, so tell me a little bit more about that.
Okay, so I'm going to be starting the Colorado Trail, and that's 485 miles, and I'm going to be walking from the Denver area back to Durango, Colorado. I'm real excited about it.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. A lot of times people have a specific reason for wanting to attempt this. Do you have a specific reason for wanting to hike the Colorado Trail?
Well, I don't. I know a lot of people do have reasons, like maybe they've just finished college, and so they're in between finishing school and starting jobs,
right?
Or people retire. Some people are just trying to find themselves, or maybe they've dealt with a difficult situation. I know who I am. I'm not out looking for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I would fall into the retirement part. I've retired now twice.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say I'm doing it just, I want the experience. I love how it feels to put on a backpack and walk from place to place and stop and set up your camp. And I like how just in these past few years, how I have found out that I am stronger and able to do something that I never thought that I could do.
Right. Yeah.
So those are my reasonings.
That's awesome. What did you do, if anything, to prepare yourself for this hike?
I started walking in February, and I walked every single day. And I would walk a few miles a day, and each day I tried to walk a little more. And I did that until the end of May, and I was up to 15 miles a day, which was hard to do. So at work, when my kids were at specials or lunch, I would go out and walk, and then when I got home, I would just fill in for the amount of miles, that I needed to make up for.
Yeah.
So that helped.
What was the most amount of miles you got in one day at the school?
8 miles.
8
I was
miles.
able to walk, yes. And that was when our kids were practicing walking to do a little fundraiser. And so we could take our kids out to practice walking. So I would walk with them.
Right. That's awesome.
And that's over a course of the whole entire day, not just all at one time.
Not at one time,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And what do your friends and family think about you going on the Colorado Trail?
They're excited. They're very supportive, and I think they all know that I love to go and backpack, that I've liked hiking, so they're very excited for me.
Okay. Going into this Thru hike, what are you most worried about?
I'm most worried about bears, dealing with bears. Mm-hmm. And it's not that I'm necessarily afraid of them. I'm worried about the whole food situation and hanging my food. That's the thing I've worried about. Enough that I bought a bear bag, and then I'm still worried about what if I don't have trees to hang that bear bag. Mm-hmm. So then I bought a bear can. Yeah. I think that's what I'm most worried about.
Yeah. That's awesome. And what are you most looking forward to while on the Colorado Trail?
I'm looking most forward to just walking. Yeah. I love to walk, and I just love to listen to nature. Right. And I like to think and just do a lot of reflecting. And I'm very excited about seeing places that I haven't seen. Seeing the mountains and meeting people. You meet a lot of new people.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Well, this is Kristi from Kristi K Hikes, and you guys will probably see more of this on her channel with other people. So look forward to that in the future. Make sure if you guys haven't yet, like the video down below. You guys can also subscribe to the channel so you guys can watch her journey through the Colorado Trail.
Yes.